So, hi, how is everyone? I'm Mike Kenteris. I'm coming at you from Lesbos Island in Mytilene, Greece. And today I want to talk to you about proctoring your writing classes. I actually started to phase out the term of online because, moving from remote emergency learning or teaching to online or back to face-to-face teaching now. I want you just to have something on your mind that, I want you to keep digital on your mind, keep all the stuff you've learned from, emergency remote learning, so to take into your class. Just before I start, I just want to mention that the word proctor in the Cambridge Online Dictionary means watching people taking an exam in order to check that they do not cheat. I'm going to change the term proctoring because we're not talking about exams. We're talking about classes, whether they're online, whether they're face-to-face, and we don't proctor, we supervise, we teach, we facilitate, we scaffold, and that's what we do. I hope you like my bit emoji in the corner. I've started following the bit emoji craze in the US and even in Greece from Afro Guris who started it, and it was fun. So I logged on to YouTube and I saw a couple of YouTube videos, a couple of tutorials, and used Snapchat and Unscreen. So have a look at it if you have time. Great, so let me start you off with the question. How many of your students really love to write for you and to share their work with others, and to be proud of what they write in class, in your essays, in your opinion essays? Yeah. Not many. And to tell you the truth, if I said that my students love it, I'd be lying too. It is a thought though. So what happens if we show them a way to write, self-correct, publish? Maybe then we can slowly instill the love for writing in them. It's a thought. So, guys, meet Apostolis. He's a student of ours at our small little school here in Mytilene. He recently came to our school to follow a B1 level class. What we didn't know about Apostolis, that he loves anime drawing and reading comics, because he never really talked about his hobbies. When he first started with us, his writing ability was just a bit below average for the B1 level. Meet Panayotis. Panayotis loves to participate. Give him a challenge, give him a collaborative task, and he'll jump straight in. And overall, he is considered a good student. So what I say is that if you can empower your students to become autonomous learners, I suppose other people say it as well, so don't, take my word for it. Empower your students to become autonomous learners, and they will not only create for you, but for themselves too. Great. Jump the gun. Apostolis was introduced to blog writing in class. He first started writing and posting class homework and compositions. And through his teacher, he was slowly coached to write more freely and choose open topics. So too Panayotis, he started taking in the idea of writing blogs and publishing book reviews on Flipgrid, more so for the gamification process that we have at our school, using points, badges, and leaderboards. Just to mention, Apostolis is an A2 level student. Great. Overall though, both Apostolis and Panayotis started writing blogs for class, And then they started seeing the idea of winning points. And then slowly they started transitioning and understanding that the more they like, the more they produce and the better they get. So both of them are producing well over 3 to 4 blogs a week, which is cool. More on Apostolis and Panagiotis just a little bit later. So what's up with our students? What challenges are we faced with as teachers? You know, I presume you're all here because you're global educators and you're interested in improving as a teacher and continuous personal development. So we have a pre-writing stage. We teach it. You know, sometimes they're not clicking with the topics. Sometimes in class, they're more anxious in just the writing, finish up the writing and hand it in. And a lot of the times they don't even read over their work to auto-correct it. And hi, Martina. And sometimes we tell them how the structuring and do model analysis and look at the rubric analysis. But sometimes, like we said, you know, maybe they're not just listening. So what's changed in the way we really write? You know, if you look at a profile of a person nowadays, most of the times there's a lot of written speech going on. And that's through, you know, even in English, obviously, as a foreign language, as a second language, that's through social media, like Instagram stories and comments on Facebook and discussion boards and articles. It would be really cool if we could turn it into literature review and book review summaries and emails and letters to real editors. Why not even talk about published works, diaries, response journals, and so on and so forth. So that's all very cool, and digital media is here to stay. It was here before, it's going to be here after the crisis. But there's always a but. Yeah, I agree with you, Nikki. Tech expert students. There's always a but. Technology is a great tool, but it's only one modality, and proficiency requires our students to master many modalities, you know, and including old-fashioned print and face-to-face exchange. So we still need to get our students to write using a pen. That's from Luis El Yafuri, a global educator situated in the US. And not only, and works a lot with differentiation of teaching English as a second language or as a foreign language. So here's my take, and I'm not going to continue much longer on what I'm talking about, and I'm going to just give you a couple of steps, and I'm going to show you a few tools. I have to show you a few tools. And so teach writing the way you teach writing. We all have our own approaches. I say make it interesting, make it as fun as possible. I'm going to show you a way. One of my colleagues from the Flip Learning in language teaching moderators have done it, which is going to be awesome. Then I say proctor writing. This is where I say about proctor writing. As many times as you can, set a time limit and get them writing in your class, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's online. It's always good to let them feel that they're being assessed, mentored, facilitated, scaffolded, that there's a time limit and they have to write in that time limit. But don't stop there. Give it for homework. Get them drafting. Get them to type it up in their own time. I suggest Google Docs because I like the idea of editing. I like the idea of getting them to edit using spelling checkers like Grammarly, which is a really cool, it's a free tool and a professional tool, obviously. And then this is where we intervene again and we have access to the Google Doc, and we can suggest now as an editor, a publisher, we can suggest changes. We can suggest improvements where they can either accept them or not. So let's make writing interesting for our students. I'm going to, if I can find it. Aha, I'm going to show you an approach. One of my colleagues from the EVO 2020 sessions in the Flip Learning in language teaching team showed us. One of the moderators, you know, we had Jeff Magotto, Carolina Bodrico, Martha Ramirez, Juliana Diaz, Gabriela Gariboto, and Diana Salazar. I'm taking work from Diana Salazar because I really enjoyed it. I used it in my class, and I think it should be shown. And here goes it. So Diana teaches 4th and 5th grade writing at the Worcester Bilingual School in Colombia, South America. And this is her take on the using the Common Core State Standards for writing. I think it was an opinion essay or a persuasive essay, so say how you like. And this is what she did. She made her writing class using in-class Flip. This was an online session, but it's easily used now with BYOD, bring your own devices in class, get your students bringing their own devices, or having tablets in your class. So make it fun and catchy. What she did is she turned it into a game. Yeah, so all the students start here. They've got instructions for use. Give me a sec. They've got instructions for use. They've even got access to a PDF from the course book. You know, we don't say don't use course books. We say improvise and differentiate. It gave her students a nice YouTube video to watch. What I liked about Diana's approach is that she, even though she does
persuasive writing episode.
Yeah, even though she does make her own videos, this time she chose resources available from all around the internet. Yeah, quick and easy with a twitch. The twitch is you don't have to get your students enrolled in Kahoot, in WordWall, in Edpuzzle, in quizzes, in Quizalize, in Zish, you know, to enroll in GimKit, and you have the master codes and create classes, you know, all these tools, even for myself, was quite a bit to handle. So her approach is watch the video, you know, read the part of the course book you're going to write, and then it starts brainstorming of the writing stage. Opens up a new HyperDoc or a new Google Doc, and she's incorporated various articles where the students can read. So articles, the pros and cons of fidget spinners. Where's the accountability? Where's, you know, where's the accountability? What are my students reading? Are they writing anything? Are they summarizing what they're reading? Well, there is accountability. That's the great thing about it. She's, you know, and then the part 2, every time they finish a part, sorry guys, every time they finish a part, they have to color it. And this part is quite huge. There's quite a few articles. They don't have to read all the articles. And then they have to start filling in a graphic organizer. Either that in your their notebook, or either in an online version. And this is where they're making their viewpoints. They're creating their viewpoints, and they're getting their supporting details and their examples. Finishing the brainstorming part, she says, stop. This is where the accountability comes in. You could do this in class, having workstations, or doing it, getting students to doing it by themselves, either individually or in group layout. And every time they finish something, they can either show it to you online by showing you the document, or your in-class flip showing their work up to date. So if you finished it, the brainstorming, come and show your teacher and let's talk about it. And if she gives the okay, you continue. And there's some grammar points. By using, yeah, I can share the graph, no probs. I'm gonna have it all on my blog, which I'll at the end, I'll just show you. You can read the article and download whatever you want. Great, so yeah, she's got a video again, and flashcards. Digital flashcards, no printouts, saving paper, letting that poor laminator to rest for once. And what she says here is, you know, choose a couple of flashcards and create 10 sentences for me in your notebook. And the accountabilities, show your teacher if you want to move on. So this is a totally different way. We're taking out the presentation stage. We're making it more interesting for the students. In the individual workspace, they can do stuff at home. They can come in, and in the group stage, they can do more interesting stuff. Anyway, they create a topic sentence, they write the main body paragraph, stop, let's read it to the teacher. How are your commas? How about your Oxford commas? How are they? Let's do this challenge. So on and so forth. More grammar points. Hey, how about a Kahoot? Great, sounds good. Are you a good student and are you too fast? How about you do another one? Differentiating. Oops, sorry about that. Differentiating. And write the conclusion. Watch the video of how we write conclusions. Get ideas. Write it down. And once you're finished, she actually gives out badges and it's quite awesome. What I say from here, this is where I take it. Once it's down on paper, that was our goal. I take it one step further and I say, type it up. Here I've made a Google Doc, and all I've done is put, heading 1, 2, 3. So the table of contents is automatic in Google Docs. And all I do is just share it to the student. I make sure when I'm sharing it, they've got editor rights, or I just get their email, or I share it with a link and make sure that they're editors. If I want to make more copies for my students, I just make a copy and I send the other copies. So what I say is, great, you wrote it down on paper, you wrote your essay down on paper, take it home, type it up. Take it home, use a tool like Grammarly. It's just a spell checker. It's a professional spell checker. It's not just a spell checker, but the free version is awesome. And I get them to correct their work. And hopefully these small little fossilized errors will be visualized in their face. And hopefully they'll say, oh yeah, now I get it. I always forget the comma. I forgot the to. You prefer to say. Great. And then this is where I come in. I use tools like the suggest edits. So anything I change, it turns up as an edit. And then let me just make it smaller to make you understand. Then the student has to accept or not accept my improvements, because at this stage, I'm not only correcting, hopefully most of the grammar errors will be gone. At this stage, I'm offering suggestions, improvements on the work as an editor or a publisher. Also, sometimes, not all the time, I use a tool like called Kazena. This is where it just, let me just show you, you connect and you change, you know, you had which area, a typical grammar mistake, you can have ready-made grammar lessons. where you just choose. A typical grammar mistake is a few, and I just click on the lesson and say, you know, she did the few error, give her the grammar rules. Also, I give oral feedback at times.
Example, can you listen to it? For example, you can see graffiti.
Yeah, and I give oral feedback, which is a great tool. One thing is, though, they have to register for a Kzina account and download the Google extension as well. So that said and done, we take this is where we can find from the Chrome Web Store. We type Grammarly. That said and done, what we do then is we have a school blog, and we get them to publish their finished work, their improved, their edited work on our blog. So going back to Apostolis, B1 level, he's had a huge improvement. And I really enjoy reading his work. If you have time, I would really love for you to go into kedu.space. I'll have the link at the end and read a couple of work. Yeah, there are a few compositions that need a little bit more work. We're not going to change everything. We're not going to suggest the perfect writing compositions. They are English language learners overall. And what I like about Apostolis' work, he's made a spin-off blog, which is really cool because, you know, with a little bit of help, I got a few of my buddy teachers to comment on his work. And, you know, he's got audience now, and he really loves it. Here's a comment from a teacher friend of mine, Despina, and he's really enjoying it, and he's, you know, blogging quite often. He had actually made a 10-part story on anima, his cartoons and his way of thinking. Also, let's go down and see if I can find. Great. This is Dimitris or Jim. He likes reading Panayotis's work that I mentioned earlier. So what he did is, can we write a blog together? This is a A2 level flyers, young learners level. Hi, Panayotis, how are you? I love your blog posts. I'm a big fan of yours. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe we can write a blog together. And, you know, Panayotis actually wrote a comment and thank you, Dimitris, for your kind words. Yeah, they'll be good. The teacher loved the idea as well. And they actually went off and they started writing a blog together, which was really good. So let's just go back and wrap it up. Let me find it first. Yeah. Okay. So Apostolis and Panayotis represents around about the 45% of our students at the moment. 45%. The students who systematically write for our blog, either they're doing it for the gamification points, or they're doing it to impress their teacher, to impress their friends, to impress me. Either way, we really like it. Saying that, we're trying to find new ways in getting more people on the train. Because, you know, Panayotis and Dimitris and Apostolis, they're in the top 5 of our school in ELEC points, and the average student is, you know, roughly about quite a few thousand ELEC points difference. So we've still got work to do. We've still got ideas to throw at them and get them involved in writing. But the whole idea of writing it in class, writing it on the spot, proctoring it, typing it up, getting revisions from your teacher, publishing your own work, actually is starting affecting students. And that all happened starting off in September 2019. We gamified our school using points, badges, leaderboards. In January 2020, we used Flipgrid, creating book reviews, or getting students to read books and writing book reviews. and then come, you know, the national lockdown in Greece in March. That helped us automatically move to digital media and online teaching. Saying that, at the moment, at the end of May now, more than 90% of our students have used our blog. They've used the Google Doc. They've published work. So next year, we should have some more interesting results. And what are my teachers saying? Well, they're happy. We've even tried using it with juniors, junior Bs, after learning about past simple. Sorry, I'm reading the chat at the same time. After learning about past simple, they saw a few. They told a story about Christopher Columbus, and they saw a couple of videos, and actually started writing about him, what he did. He sailed, and he did this, and he explored. So that's quite good. Finishing off, what are you waiting for? I want you all to go out there and make writing the most valuable tool you have in creating autonomous learners. And that's what we all want, don't we? We want to create autonomous learners, creating for themselves, creating for us, and expressing themselves in all modalities. Great. And here's my bit emoji again. I loved it. I'm going to look at the QA if there are any questions. I know you guys, for you guys to be here today, I know you are globally open-minded educators. Connect. Find me on Twitter, find me on Facebook. If you like, if you visit my blog, Mr. Mike ELT, it's just a reflective blog. I made an infographic with a three-step process. And I actually talked about it in writing, proctoring your online courses, and talked about Diana's work. So let's have a look at the Q&A. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your lovely words. Okay, Diana, Diana doesn't have a blog yet. We're getting there. Go to my blog. Yeah. So what's the name of Diana's blog? You can actually go to my blog and you can read about Diana's work, and I'm going to put up a couple of links. Are they in middle or high school? They're in, Apostolis is in a secondary school, and Panayotis is in the 5th grade of primary school. So A2 level, young learners, A2 level, and B1 high school. Preliminary exam. So which class do you start working with writing? We can start working with writing even from junior A, where we have drawing as a medium and just a couple of words. You can actually go in and see a couple of junior A, you know, hi, my name is Maria Elena. I am 8 years old, which is fine. Okay. Oh, that's a good question, Anastasia. What happens with students who are not involved in any tech skills? So what I would say there is help them, get them to stay behind, get them, if they want to, give them a tablet, give them a tablet, give them a tablet, and let them sit on the PC in the computer lab. Kids that didn't know how to actually make an account at our blog because it's based on WordPress, or they had difficulties, I helped their students, I helped their parents make accounts, or I made an account for them. Don't let them, leave no student behind. Yeah, the whole idea is to get everyone blog at least 1 or 2 blogs, and that way they can start getting into the feel of, this is how we do it. We write in class, we type it up at home, we come to class, we get the suggestions from the teacher, and we publish our own work because we like publishing our own work, or supposedly. So guys, time's up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And love to see you guys again. Elt News, thanks for inviting me. It was a great 2-day session. Really enjoyed it.